What's up, everybody? Welcome back to today's episode of the Comeback Couples Podcast. I'm your host, Mark Jennison, with
Kendra Jennison.
Way cooler than me, Kendra Jennison, the K to the J, KJ Money. Listen, let's just get a couple things out in the open. Kids are back in school.
Hallelujah.
Things are going better, right? Like we got my time, my schedule's going better. That means that I can bang you in the middle of the day.
This is like the best. First day back, you're like, yes, let's get it in at lunchtime. After lunch.
Like I was going to put a post out with the kids' pictures, right?
School pictures, and you're going to be like, yes, free to bang my wife any time of the day.
This day's really for me. Now I get to bang my wife without fucking getting little heads popping in the room.
Dad, Mom.
Anyway, so
that's fun.
So that's what we've been doing. But yeah, what a good summer, I guess. I don't even know. Was it a good summer?
It was a good summer. I felt like our summer was a little bit more chaotic than usual. Summers are like our chill time. We really just focus on, family, the lake, swimming, letting the kids just be kids, running around, having everybody over. But I felt like we were kind of busy, and you were exceptionally busy.
Yeah,
Maybe that's why.
I thought I was going to take it easy this summer.
Well, you didn't.
And then I realized that I'm actually going to work harder.
That's what you did.
Yeah, I don't even think that I saw myself in the sun that much this year.
Yeah, you were head down, working office from quite literally sun up till sundown.
Yeah, every day.
You missed a lot of summer.
I did miss a lot of summer,
yeah.
But I remember actually one morning waking up Phoenix, and I said, summer's coming to an end, buddy. And he told me, he goes, yeah, but Dad, with you being our dad, it doesn't really matter. We can travel anytime we want. And I was like, damn, that's pretty cool. Like
it's very cool.
It. Yeah. So anyways, we got some topics today. We're back at this. We're going to be doing, not that it matters to you guys listening to this, but we do them at noon. It's close to noon because I always fuck up my schedule as possible on Thursdays, which I don't know when Ryan will put it out there. But we had someone in my private group or in the comeback community. Let me pull it up. Corey Nicholas was his name. Give a shout out to Corey.
Good job, Corey.
He literally said, why can't I find this? Where are you? I just wanted to read this to give him credit. If you haven't implemented Mark Jennison and Kendra and Dave Reducey's podcast in your comeback yet, you're missing out. Called a couple of them last night as I walked the dogs and completely blew my mind on how inspired they made me to be a better husband, father, businessman, etc. And then I texted him, I put in the post, I said, so we're doing a podcast today. Do you have any topics you want this discussed? And he responded back and fired back with quite a few. He said, Mark Jennison, advice to comebacks whose spouses don't want to make the same changes. And then parentheses, sobriety, parenting, non-biological kids, how to gain back trust, balancing working from home together, you name it, right? I don't know what you name it means, but
hitting all those topics, like
I think the only,
any of those
I think
ones
the only thing you named is my wiener.
Mew, mew, mew.
So how do you want to do this today, babe?
So I actually really love the first two topics. I love the entire thing that he wrote, but the first two topics of how do you get your spouse on board with what you're going through and maybe also some of their own sobriety things. And then also, how do you co-parent?
All right. I think we just hit all four, right? Because
we can for sure.
I love, we got plenty of time here. Parenting, non-biological kids. I'm just going to be honest. I fucking hate that.
Hate that question.
I hate the fact that blood qualifies you as family.
Well, to certain people it does, but to us it doesn't.
Right. Well, I mean, we'll talk about that.
We'll definitely dive into that.
I want to address this one, but obviously that's more personal for me, right? Like
for sure.
And we won't beat up where I'm at. We'll just talk about the kids.
Yeah.
So, fucking hit it, babe. How do you get the lady, the wife, the girlfriend, the spouse on the same page if they don't want to make changes?
What a great question. I wish that there was one solid answer to this. Like the answer is yellow. However, this is a multi-step, multi-answer to this question. First and foremost, I think the biggest thing, as always, is communication. Communication is key because there is a gentleman who has gone through or is going through I Am a Comeback and hasn't told his wife.
There's lots.
His wife She may know that, yeah, he's doing this program, but she has no fucking clue what it is. So communication is key. And with that, there's typically, and I can talk on this because I've coached it. There's typically mainly two types of wives. As soon as their husbands go through I'm a comeback, there is the wife who's just like, oh my goodness, I love these changes. My husband is finally the man that I knew he could be. I'm all on board. How do I become more like this new amazing husband that I see? There's that wife. And then there is the second wife who is jaded. She's pissed off. She's hurt. She doesn't understand why some guy on the internet could change her husband and she couldn't. How come Mark Jennison, I Am a Comeback was enough, but the entire family? She is just really pissed off and has zero interest in who the new man is becoming. There's hurt there. And I don't even think she necessarily knows how to navigate through that. So the biggest thing is going to have to be for the wife and the husband to communicate massively. Sit her down. Hey, I know I haven't really explained thoroughly to you what I Am a Comeback is. This is what it is. I know that I have made some massive changes in a week and 2 weeks and however long they've been in I Am a Comeback, right? I haven't done a great job explaining to you what it is, and I realize that as the man of this family, as the leader, I've kind of left you behind. I understand why you're pissed at me. I understand why you don't buy into this I'm a Comeback thing. And I realize that you're stuck here. That's a massive thing. That could help. However, there is a wife whose husband can explain that to his wife, and a wife is just not going to want to hear it. There's too much hurt. He's cheated. He's lied. He's told her before that, I'm
gonna stop.
I'm gonna stop. Yep. This time is my last time. Yep. This time I'm serious and I'm changing. She's heard it all before. So she's not buying into it because you haven't given enough time for her to see the new you.
Right.
That's also huge. The biggest things are communication. And you need to lead your family.
There's one that you've never dealt with. Too.
Yeah, this is true.
So I'm gonna give you another perspective for some of those wives out there.
Mm-hmm.
And this is for some of you dudes listening to this. You're gonna be like, "Fuck, he said what I think. I just don't have the fucking balls to do it or say it." Mm-hmm. And that is for a wife or a girlfriend who continues to drink.
Yes. Because
the relationship that you built was
based
built
on drinking,
and the foundation on drinking.
100%.
And you provided an opportunity. You gave her kids. She probably put some weight on, or maybe she didn't put some weight on. She got comfortable drinking. She's not super stoked inside of her skin, and then all of a sudden you want to change it, and you want to be great, and you start feeling great. But really, the reality is inside of you, you're hanging on to something that probably isn't there anymore.
100%.
And
I actually love that you had just mentioned that.
Like, you're hanging on to the idea of the fun you had when you used to drink together.
Those are the memories. That was the.
But it was toxic as fuck.
Toxic.
Right? Or, I mean, maybe it wasn't toxic.
Maybe it was a lot of fun.
Maybe it was a lot of
Great
fun.
memories.
And you decided now at, unfortunately, maybe 35 or 65, it's time to grow the fuck up.
Right.
Right? So for those guys, I mean, I don't like to be the bearer of bad news, but I like to be more the revealer of truth, right? And get a man to fucking rise up. Yo, you might have to just walk away.
Great point. And I also love that you went there, because what happens a lot of the time too, especially when I was coaching, a lot of these wives, girlfriends, significant others, they see these changes that their husband is going through. He's shifting. He's working the 7 F's. He's got goals. He's got ambitions. He's making more money. The wife now realizes, or maybe part of her realizes, but she doesn't want to admit it to herself yet, that, holy shit, now I have to look at myself, and I would have to start making changes, because no longer my husband's drinking is the problem. She has to look internally at herself, and she's like, well, shit, maybe I'm not the wife I should have been. Maybe my drinking was getting in the way. I've never set goals. I let my body go. I'm kind of a shitty mom sometimes, as far as, if drinking was getting in the way. And that's a really terrifying and scary thing for wives to do. No longer is the husband's drinking the scapegoat. She has to look inward and at herself and work on things. And I think a lot of the time that's incredibly hard for wives to do. Incredibly hard. Anybody to do, really.
And I just was talking a couple minutes ago about like, you might have to walk away, but on the flip side of that, only you know how much you can tolerate and you're willing to put up with. So I've often said, like with my dad, if I'm going to blame him for the bad, I've got to blame him for the good, right? As well, because it's the good that comes out is the resilience, the strength, the fuck you, you're not going to beat me, I'm going to beat you. Or that came from being beat down like a bitch as a kid. And the reason that I say that is because if you are a husband, you truly, because let's be honest, like, luckily for me and for you, like we choose health is it's number one as a foundation in our life. We want to live a long, good life. But let's just say, and we know people that have these relationships where they're not willing to give up. They don't want to give up on the person because they love them. I can think of somebody right now that's close to you. Like, don't want to give up on this dude, right? This is like on the guy role of it. Doesn't want to give up on this guy because he's this idea, this belief that he's going to be okay. So you create a little bit of space and you decide what you will tolerate and how long you tolerate it for. Every man has a number. Every woman has a number. That doesn't necessarily mean financial number. That means days, amounts, energy, how much fucking non-refundable minutes are you willing to give this person. So I also understand that love is a battlefield, like the reality, not for us because we seem to love wholeheartedly. It's just perfect in my life. But, knowing that you've got into this war together, no man left behind, right? Or till death do us part. If you really truly take that, then you've got to give some grace. And you got to keep pounding it and pounding it and pounding. So as much as I say to walk away, if like that's the quick exit. If you know at your heart you don't want to be all in anymore, then get the fuck out because you're just wasting both your times. But if you're not willing to walk away from her or from him because there's a piece of you that loves them, then you got to take them all the way to the water.
Exactly. I think that's why the first thing I wanted to say was communication is key. You need to sit down and you guys need to have that incredibly hard conversation of, listen, this is where I want to take us as the man. This is what he should be saying. This is where I want to take our family. This is the future that I am casting for us. And it's magnificent and it's awesome. And maybe the wife doesn't want to, maybe she's like, listen, I love that you're this new man now, but I can't or I don't want to be a part of that. And maybe he doesn't want his wife to come along with that. That is a terribly hard conversation to have. But once you have that, if you can have that, once you do.
Well, let's hypothetically say they want to stick together because we're going all doom and gloom on it, right?
It's true. It's true.
But the reality is, man, I think many dudes hang on far too long. I think life is too short to be unhappy.
Yes.
And I'm not saying that divorce is always the answer. I know it sometimes seems like that, but I think freedom is the answer, and only you know what that level of freedom looks like. So what I want to do is give some practical stuff since we got a couple things here.
Great.
Here's what I recommend as the man. Well, these three words should, I guess it's four. These four words should mean something to every man inside the comeback and on the outside. Lead, motherfucker, lead. Like lead, motherfucker, lead.
Yes.
And what I mean by that is, you know what you want. You get up every day. You made the choice. You went all in on you. You joined the comeback, or you are the epitome of the self-development world. And you're the guy that wants to fucking lead and you want these great things in your life. Well, then you need to show up every day and do that. And one of the first steps that I would do if I was in this situation is I would literally, they're on the wall. Who are you? What do you want? Why do you want it? But I would literally lay out the question with you. If this was the case, I would say, who are you and who am I in this relationship together, in this marriage?
Yes.
Right? Like, who are you? Like the chemical, the DNA, not the chemicals, but the DNA, the same stuff I tell on the clarity call. Like, who are you? Who am I in this marriage? Who am I in this relationship? Who am I as a wife? Who am I as a husband? Who am I as a spouse? Right? And then the next question I would say, what do I want from this relationship? Like, once I figured out who I am, because people change, and then understanding why I want it. And those three, it's so simple yet so beautifully complex to sit and be truthful with yourself, because motherfuckers want to, Ryan here uses the word all the time, mystify, right? You want to mystify the problem. You want to make it harder than it has to be because it's your problem. People won't let go of the chaos because they're truly afraid to live a good life. And at the core of those three questions, right? Who am I as the leader of this family, or who am I as the leader of this relationship or this marriage? What do I want with this relationship and why do I want it? And then sit down and have that thing together. But before you even get there, you got to fucking even ask your wife to have a conversation.
Yes.
You can't run. You can't hide.
Quit running and quit hiding from having those conversations. 100%.
Quit begging.
If you never would have sat me down And this is for the wives who have never done self-development, don't even know what it is. A day in their life, they've just been doing the mom thing, doing the working thing. Have your husband, and I always put that emphasis on the husband, because I truly, in our household and in many households that work really, really well, the husband is the leader. And I think that is a role that they should fucking take on head first, because that is just the hierarchy of how it should be, you know? Right. And I truly believe that with all of my heart. Anyways, the man needs to sit down and you need to go over goals. What's important to you, honey? What's important to you? For the wife that doesn't want to give up drinking, probably doesn't want to give up her friends, doesn't want to give up the life that she's been living, sit down with her. What's important to you?
Yep.
Is this more important to you than what I see for our future? Because this is what I see, but we can't have that if this is how you want to live. If you want to live that way, I'm here for you. I support you. I can't be a part of it, but you can do that. This is what I see, and this is where I want to go. This is how we can get there, and I'm going to take you with me.
Here's the work required.
Here's the work that is required, and this is what we can do. And if she can sit there and she can honestly say that drinking is maybe more important, going out with the bar with her friends, maybe going to a cocktail hour at lunch, that's more important to her.
Which is fine.
Which is fine. If that is her truth and that is what she wants, truly that's what's going to make her happy, then you got to let that go. That's what she wants, right? Yep. Anyways, but have that conversation. I guarantee you that if your wife and you were to sit down and go over some goals and some things that are massively important to you in your life and what you can have for your future, and if drinking is a massive part of that for her, for you, you might have to do some reevaluating, because maybe there'll be weddings and such is fine, you know, have a cocktail, have a drink,
and
celebrations.
I wanted to just put that disclaimer on there. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Our message isn't one of, hey, don't fucking drink, yeah, blah, blah, blah. Like, lots of our friends drink and they're successful and they live a good life, but they
Great
communicate.
Life. And I think
they fucking talk.
Yes. And that doesn't necessarily mean, I mean, even for us, I had 2 glasses of champagne at my cousin's wedding this past weekend. Last time I drank was at Kurt's wedding, which was also a glass of champagne. How much fun did we have? You never have anything to drink that is not in your forefront of your future anytime soon. But that doesn't mean that your wife can't have a glass of, like, I feel like some wives might sit there and they'd be like, oh my God, if I have a drink in front of my husband, he's gonna relapse, you know, he's gonna want to start drinking and I can't handle this. It's like, whoa. You don't have to give up everything entirely. However, you guys do have to be on the same page as far as what comes with your future, right? Like, I'm not going out getting plastered at the bars. I'm not going out all the time with my friends. Like, you're my friend now.
Sure.
I'm cool. I don't have FOMO. I'm like, hey, listen, you guys want to go do that? I love you. You're my best friends. No
offense, your friends are all great, but I wouldn't have any FOMO with them either. Not doing a whole lot, right? So
we're kind of chill. Anyways, but go on and do your thing.
You guys are loving to text each other, like,
we do. We text each other every day,
all day
in our group message. But the coolest thing is I don't have that FOMO, because I'm so dedicated and so hungry for the future that you and I have casted on paper and our goals and where we're going, that I'm like, listen, guys, a drink with y'all is not going to push me any closer to what Mark and I have cast for our future. And that's what's most important, our core 5, our family, where we're going. Yep. So I think that if the gentleman can do a really good job of getting the wife on board and saying, hey, where the hell are we going? What are we doing with this? And the wife, don't be afraid to look inward and maybe be like, shit, you know what, Mark? Now that you have proven to yourself, because it's going to take time, you know, your wife's not going to trust you right away if you've let her down multiple times, but you've proven to me now that this is the man you say you are.
Let's get on that trust topic.
Yes, please. And I'm gonna buy into this. I realized that it was me also that was holding us back. Can you show me? Can you guide me as the man, as the leader of this family, and give me maybe things from I'm a comeback, right? Like, I really like this new person you're becoming. I like what it's doing for our family. I like the more money that you're making. I like the more sex that we're having. You are so into me that I'm in here now. I'm in it for good. Show me some things that I can do to make myself better.
Right.
Right?
So I want to touch, we'll kind of kill 2 birds, since we'll skip over the biological question, come back to that in a second.
Yeah.
But trust, right? So
yes.
have any trust issues with you. As a matter of fact, you're the only person. Shouldn't say that. There's a couple guys that I trust.
But as far as relationship trust,
yeah,
is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. Well, I'm just looking at people in general, right?
Okay.
So I'm going to talk about trust, like how to gain trust. Like I don't think trust is gender specific. I think it's a fucking an emotion. I think it's something that each and every person has, and you trust is something that is not just given; it is earned, just like respect. But the reason that I wanted to bring it up is because I didn't trust in a relationship. I didn't trust any woman. Why would I trust anybody? Sure. Especially if it's I didn't even trust myself. So there's a couple things that for me to be able to get to this spot where secrets, and I mean I tell the world anything about me, right? Like I actually straight up I use it for marketing. We use it every day.
People want real.
Smiles.
Yeah.
They want it to be real. What you see on camera is who you get. I fucking tell the truth. I'll tell you when I'm having a good day or a bad day. Like I've got nothing to hide. I've done more drugs, fucking lied, bad shit than anybody I've ever met. Don't give a fuck about that. Like that's clear, clean out my closet. But like when I look at trust, something that is given, I came into this relationship with zero trust for anybody, including myself. So the first step that every man, woman, well, it's not child, but every man or woman that is getting into a relationship or already in a relationship or trying to repair the trust is you have to trust yourself, number one. Or you have to.
Massive.
Right? So when I did the fucking Ghost Rider move on you for those few weeks.
Mark ghosted me for 2 weeks.
You love talking about that.
That was a dick move.
But I did. I ghosted you not because I didn't want to be with you, but because I didn't trust who I was.
Sure.
Right? I'm like, I don't know that I can be faithful. I don't know that I can just be loving. I don't know that I'm lovable. I don't know that I don't even know who I am, right? Like I was building this. Like I don't even know who I am in a relationship. But yeah, I'm grinding, hustling, father, taking care of my life, this guy. But like all of a sudden, whoa, now I got this emotion of love back in like 2 weeks. I feel this way. Fuck you. I can't trust you. Right? Those are what's going through my mind. But really, when you look at taking ownership of self, man or woman, it starts with trusting who you are. And that requires you to make commitments, right? So even though you call it a dick move and ghosted, like had I not done that, I don't know that I would have been able to be a work in progress, sure. Right? I had to say, okay, look, I'm all in.
Like after those 2 weeks, that is truly, you were like, you know what? Fuck it. I am all in. I'm all in on this girl.
Not only am I all in, but here we're about to fucking hear some shit. People are going to talk a lot of shit about me. Like that was another side of it. Did I really want you to be drugged through the mud? Right? Like and these little girls and stuff and Phoenix. And I mean, for me, it was simple though. Like when I made the decision was I talked to Phoenix about this the other day. When you had your brother's red jacket on, I think it was your brother's, right? I don't remember what it says in the back, but it was like a
Iron Mountain.
It was Michigan or some Wisconsin or something. Yeah.
Iron Mountain.
Red, like
button up
jacket. And you were throwing a football with them at Pierce's. And then we went to Harpoons and had lunch, and the kids made concoctions, right? They were into that shit. And then I think we went back to your house, just to hang out before we went home or drop you off, whatever. And the girls were just on top of Phoenix, like wrestling him from day one. Right. So those were the key things for me that made me, and that was after we kind of hang out, right? But that was when I was like fully committed, but there was a different decision that needed to be made within, was like, yo, you fuck, and I'm just going to tell you guys how I talk to myself. Like, yo, you fucking suck at relationships. You fucking don't know how to love. You're unworthy of love. You've hurt every woman that you've ever been with consciously. Not like you made the you purposely hurt them before they could hurt you. Yeah. You cannot drag these 3 kids or her through this. Do you have the fucking balls to go all in?
So you were 110% intentional with everything from the start when you were coming into this relationship.
Yeah. And that required, so we talk about trust, that required me to, I mean, you can go, like, my phone's up right now.
Mine too.
Right, like one of the biggest signs of a cheater is a dude who's got his phone like turned upside down all the time when he's with his girl, right? Or whatever.
I don't know, I guess
it just is what it is, because you don't want people to see what it is. I pay attention to that, right? Sure. My phone's up. Nobody's going through it. You can go through it anytime. I ask you to do it. Like, but back to day one, like that was not foreign to me. That was it. That was like my lifeline of like, just
hide
everything. Just fucking hide. Don't let people know. So I had to make I had to trust myself, and to trust myself, I had to come up with some commitments to me. And those commitments are not like, they're actual actionable commitments. You don't go on Tinder or whatever these things are if you're going to be in a relationship. You don't you erase girls who are in their bikinis or showing off their fucking tits on Instagram. You don't fucking allow anybody who has your number. You block any girl that's ever texted you. And I did all that.
You did all of that. You do it even still. You'll be on your Instagram. We'll be sitting in bed and you'll be like, a chick will pop up with like her ass poking out or whatever, and you'd be like, oh, I don't know how she got on here. Delete, block.
Right, I do. I do. They get into my DMs, you get blocked, and it is what it is. Luckily, I mean, honestly, where we're at now, it's not like it was, but from the period before I met you, from like 2016 to 18, dude, like nonstop. And so that was just like on my phone. And then the rest of the things is like, how do you live inside of the world? Yeah. How do you carry yourself when you go into a restaurant, the eye contact you make with certain people inside the gym? Like, okay, like you need to be fucking committed to certain people. And we talked about this the other day, like that Joey Swole video where it got like, you know, these young girls in the gym, and then you walk up, or if they catch, like, you have to be fucking laser focused on what you're doing. I didn't, like, obviously that's not what I do, but like back then, like I'm just going to be committed to me, and I'm not going to let anything bother me. So trust. This is probably more, I mean, I don't know if you have anything you want to add on that, but like if you are, because the dude is most likely the one that broke the trust.
For sure.
And there's only two ways to ruin this relationship.
Cheating, lying.
That's it.
Knew it.
That's it. From both parts.
From both of us.
If you cheat, it's over. If you lie, it's over.
But like, I do have to lie to you. Lie I use very lightly because it's like a white lie. It's impossible to surprise you with anything. And I even think I'm so bad at it. If I'm trying to hide a surprise for your birthday or something, you're like, well, what do you mean? And you'll give me like a look, and I'm just like, well, it's no big deal. So I just gotta get away from you. Bye.
Yeah. I mean, I get to some degree. I don't think that's a lie. I think that's trying to surprise and help people. I'm talking about,
I know.
And I get little things like that for sure. I don't even do that. Like, I'm literally the worst. I feel like if I don't tell you something within 2 seconds of knowing that I'm fucking lying to myself, and I got to get it out.
Everything.
So like, I just blabber at the mouth, because for me, and this is at the core of trust, is like, I've got to be honest in everything that I do. And
again, that's that commitment now that you made to yourself at the very beginning when we got into this relationship, and the commitment that you now have made to me and to the kids. And it's like, no, I don't. And to allow, you can tell me anything. No judgments. I'm not going to nag at you. I'm not going to bitch at you. I'm not going to yell at you. I'm going to be like, hey, thank you for telling me that. Like, you know,
so
great. I also want to touch on, what about the guy, the husband, the boyfriend, and I'm going to put this on them, who's lied, who's cheated, who's drank behind his girlfriend's back. How does she get that trust back in her husband? How does he get that? She's hurt. She's pissed. She doesn't believe a freaking word that he says. It's like, yeah, whatever. You've said that before. I don't trust you. I don't say whatever you want to say. It's fucking broken. How does that mend?
I have a lot of, unfortunately, I have a lot of men that have done that.
Yes. I think that's it's just the reality.
It's just
for the life that you chose to live.
For the way that they drank, the things that they did, the situation they put themselves in. At some point, as the man, you have to stop apologizing.
Some point, you absolutely
the apologizing and the begging for forgiveness is the fucking pussy move.
It's pitiful,
right?
And no woman,
any self-respecting, loving of herself woman who got cheated on doesn't want to take you back because you grovel like a bitch
and you're fucking begging. I'm sorry. Would you please? I said I'm like, just fucking man up. Jesus Christ, right?
Like, respect her. You respect her. Like, you have, like,
own that shit. I fucked up. Listen, I'm no longer that man. You see, I'm putting in the work. I've proved to you now.
I believe, and what I tell these guys to do is that you shut the fuck up.
Even that too.
You literally shut the fuck up. You stop. You've done your final apology, and the apology can go something like, "Look, man, it's disrespectful for me to try to like belittle you and tell you I'm never going to do this again, because why would you believe me? I completely understand the fact that I've blown every ounce of trust, respect, piece of love you have for me, yet for some reason you're hanging on here. Number one, I think you should probably figure that out, or we should figure that out together. But all I can do at this moment, I can't fucking handle the future. I don't know what the future is going to be. Like, I can't predict it. But what I can do is I can predict the actions I take every day. And this is what I'm going to do. And I'm going to be quiet about it. I'm going to show the fuck up. And if it works, it works. And if it doesn't, it doesn't. And I think obviously when you are ready, if you're the woman, I will be on your time. And if that time never comes, then you both determine what it is there. But at least moving forward, I think either the trust comes or it doesn't come. But I think what happens is you don't have to hate each other.
Yes.
Right? There's still going to be some resentment always inside there.
Sure.
But you don't have to fucking hate each other. And you do that by, like, I just feel like, you know, because women are, in my opinion, right, beautiful and like fragile. Like, not all women are fragile, but like when I think about them, they're just feminine. Like, they're feminine, and they're like and a dude who's like kind of trying to be manipulative and hard, and like he plays on that because he thinks it is a sign of weakness.
Sure.
And I think that if you are treating her like she's weak and disrespecting her by fucking begging and begging and begging, like, you literally make her feel like shit.
Just stop.
Just stop.
Women will get to a spot where they're like, "You're just fucking pathetic. Please, just stop. Stop telling me and start showing me." Right. That is the best thing. To shut up and just go to work on yourself.
And as a dude, right? Like, you also got to understand that showing her for 2 weeks, 2 months, 2 years might not be enough.
Exactly.
Right? You don't know how deep that wound is.
Just because you've been working on yourself for 2 weeks doesn't mean her legs are going to open wide up and be like, "Finally,
come lick my box."
Right.
Yeah. Like,
that is not always how that works.
So hopefully that answers your question about trust. What are we at on time here? 12:52. Let's get to the biological. Parenting non-biological kids. I'm just going to say blood isn't thicker than water. It's not. It's just not.
It's not. If you have that mentality, scratch that, ex-nay that, because that is not always the case.
I'm very passionate about this one because of just the way that I was growing up, and some of the people who have loved me more in my life, actually looking at it now, or have been there maybe, and I didn't necessarily understand and accept the love. Some male figures was not my dad. They were not blood to me.
Right.
Not blood at all in certain situations. However, I don't want to go down the angry side of that, because that's kind of like, there's a lot of things bothering me right now in my
probably
family
shouldn't
life.
touch on that.
But when it comes to my kids, right, the question that fucking bothers me, or the things they say, like, yeah, but they're not your kids, they're not your real blood. Like, dude, shut the fuck up before I fucking elbow blast you in the next week, you fucking pussy.
So the biggest things for us are when our kids first got together and when we were married, our kids never, ever, ever, honestly, they'd probably get soap in their mouth from either of us if they ever said, "That's my stepbrother," or "Those are my stepsisters." We don't fucking play by that. That's your brother. These are your sisters. That's not your stepdad. That's your dad. Now, they don't have to call him dad.
No.
They call him Marky Boo. They call him dad. They call him Daddy Boo. They call him Mark. You know, that's not forced. However, if
call me asshole behind my back,
yeah,
I'm
probably.
Sure.
And Mark and I, you know,
Phoenix calls you mom, though.
Phoenix calls me mom. Yeah. Phoenix is not my stepson. When people ask, "Oh yeah, and my son and his basketball," and so if you are placing those words inside of your family unit, you're setting yourself up. Yeah, you're separating.
You're dividing the family and making them feel different.
We get so many compliments on, "Oh my gosh, your family is so amazing. You're so close. You're so wonderful." Yeah, thank you. We treat our kids like our kids. We treat, and we don't accept anything less than that. Now, what's really hard though is our girls will go to their dad's house. Phoenix will go to his mom's house. That is not the case over there. Like how the girls can go to their dad's house when they're there. Those are her stepkids. Those are the step grandkids. Those are, Kendra is not your real mom. She's your stepmom.
Yeah.
And to battle with that, and when the kids come home and they're like, "Well, this is what was said. They said that I shouldn't be saying this because you're just my stepdad or you're just my stepmom." I'm like, listen, Do I take care of you? Do I love you? Do I support you? That's what a mom does, right? I think I'm your mom. I think I deserve to be called mom, or I'm not going to act any less just because somebody says that, right?
Yeah.
Actions over everything all the time. But if you are consciously saying, oh, your stepbrother or oh, whatever, or your stepsisters, you're placing that inside of your family unit on your own already. So stop.
I got a lot of things I'm going to say about this real quick. Can you message Rich and tell him I'm going to be a couple minutes late on my call for me, please? Because I want to get this out since we're doing this.
Yeah.
Walking through school, meet the teachers with Blake, which is the girl's biological dad.
Yep.
And he tells me, man.
He's from Alabama. He's got a real thick accent.
These girls sure are lucky to have you, right? Like, in at that moment, this is for every dad out there who has, whether you want to call them non-biological or stepkids or kids that were birthed by, other men or whatever, or conceit, whatever that word is. But he gave me his power. At that moment, he declared
those are your kids.
He declared those are not my kids, those are your kids. Financially, emotionally, spiritually, physically, mentally. Those
girls are lucky to have you.
Y-O-U,
and you're there for everything.
With a capital Y-O-U, right?
Massive.
Because, and it's no disrespect to him, it's a choice that he made, and sure, we could look deeper into it, and I'm sure it's the way that he's raised, or maybe it's the lack thereof, or worry, or whatever, but, and then he went on to talk about, how successful I am, and how hard I work, and how much these kids love me, and all this stuff, but when he handed me that power, but I'd already taken the power. Mm-hmm. I didn't care, but when he handed that power, it was game over. Okay, so if you are a dad that is trying to figure out what that looks like, what are you really fighting? This is going to be deeper than it, right? Are you fighting the fact that they're not are you fighting the fact that they're not your blood? Are you fighting the fact that some other dude had sex with your wife and gave you a kid, right? And now you're taking further responsibility? Are you fighting with something that doesn't exist? Are you actually not leading them the way they want to be led, and you're allowing the fucking other man of the other household to control? That's a big deal, right? When it comes to parenting the kids, number one, it's an open line of communication, right? Now, luckily, Phoenix was, I don't know how old he was, 7, 8. I don't know the exact ages when we got together. But how old is he now? He gonna be 13.
Yeah.
It's going on 5 years. So what is that? 8 years old. He just turned 8. Yeah, I was in Florida. Just turned 8 years old. Bailey was 3 and Jade was 5. Yep. And those are young ages.
Babies.
Bailey knows no different than me. Like, I straight up am her dad. And
her dad.
Even though the other day she said, my stepdad upstairs, right? And I know that came from when she just got back from her mom's or whatever. And she's like, or from her dad's house. And she didn't really know what it was. And my questions were very much like you, like, okay, so what does that mean? Like, what's a stepdad? She didn't even know what that means, but someone else put an identity and a belief into her mind.
And then what did I say at dinner? I was like, hey, I brought it back up very nicely, very sweetly. Hey, dad told me you said that he's not your real dad. He's just your stepdad. And I said, do we talk like that? And she just, like all 6-year-old, how old is she? 7-year-olds. Well, I was just, she's laughing about it. I was like, he does everything for you. He takes care of you. He's there for everything. I said, so don't ever disrespect him again by calling him that, because he is your dad. And
her own sister said the same thing up there. Right? But the question these guys ask is, how do you do it? I remember one time Kurt, my brother Kurt, told me, he's like, that blended family works for you, right? Like, he mentioned that to me. It wouldn't work for me. He wants to have his, and I get that. That's what they want. They're cool. That's what you got. That's fine. However, that's not an option for me, right? Like, that's zero option. Never wanted. It's not an option for you. My fam, like, and I think for me personally, like, I'm uniquely gifted and qualified to be a dad to anybody that's blood or not blood, because nobody fucking wanted me.
Right.
And because nobody wanted me, it actually allows me to be free and open and caring about people. Because if I wasn't that way, I could be angry about it and say nobody loved me. Sure, which I have at moments. So if you're a dad or a mom out there trying to figure out how to do this biological, non-biological fucking parenting, it's real simple. Be the fucking person you needed when you were a kid.
Yeah.
That's it.
I was going to say, I love that. I couldn't agree more. And I was going to say, if you are a mother or father and you have biological or stepkids, right? Quit being a pussy. Love the child. Love the child. Love. If you don't know how to start a relationship, or if you're not sure how to approach your stepson or start connecting, hey, I love you. I'm so glad that I get to spend time with you. I'm so glad that you came into my life. You have to start. Don't ever expect your kids, your young kids, whether they're young or old, to try to make a connection with an adult. That is not their responsibility. It is your responsibility as a parent to start that relationship, to solidify that relationship, because a child does not ever have to give love back when they have never received it. A lot of these parents are like, well, I can't, how do I get closer? I can't, he just feels like my... Shut the hell up and start acting and making actions towards that child.
We went through that with Phoenix.
Yes.
Like when we first moved into the house in like 2019, I remember that. I don't know if you remember that one day, but he was screaming. He was so angry, right? And his so fucking upset. My douchebag fucking piece of fuck mom tried to put inside his mind that you and your dad are not close anymore. And she was basically laying these seeds that Kendra's taking your spot and blah, blah, blah. And they're confusing the fuck out of this kid.
Yeah.
Right. So number one, actually, there's a lot of number ones. Do it all is like, don't let outside motherfucking piece of shits infiltrate your kids' thoughts.
100%.
That's it.
That's
Take
massive.
the time.
That is massive. Good point.
Take the time to help them find their own thoughts.
Yes.
I don't force my ideas and beliefs and concepts and weigh on Jade or Bailey or Phoenix. I help them find their voice. The number one fucking mistake you can make as a parent is not knowing who your kids are as kids, because when they become adults, right? And I know this because I am that.
Yes, you are that.
My parents have no clue who I am. And that creates an anger inside of me beyond all belief, where I want to light their fucking houses on fire. But help these kids find their voices. Help them find how to love. Like, look at them as fucking flowers that are blossoming every day. And even if you're blood or not blood, you are like designated to guide them through this fucking world that's tough at times.
Yes.
Right?
That's what I'm saying. Quit being a pussy, and just like, this opportunity that you have in front of you is massive. Love them, guide them, show them.
Yeah, that pisses me off.
Prove to them with your actions that you are there no matter what. Even if you have another side of the family who is extremely toxic and will continue to say, well, that's not your real mom, that's not your real dad. Prove to them. Be there. Be at the fucking games. Be at the practices. Be at the open houses for school.
How many basketball games have you been on for Phoenix?
A lot.
How many has his other mom been at?
I
think one or two.
Maybe one or two.
How many fucking...
But bottom line is, kids aren't fucking stupid. You can say all you want. Well, I want to be there. I want to do these things. I want to... Stop it and show up. Be there. Prove to them. Let the other side crumble and fall, all that toxicity. They're going to press onto, like they did press onto Phoenix so much. She's not ever going to be your real mom. This is your mom. And I ignored it. I took the high road. It was hard. It hurt me because I couldn't believe that adults could be so vindictive and manipulative towards a child. And I told you, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to do what I do, which is love. And I'm going to show up and I'm going to do all the things that I would do for my biological kids. If we wanted to go there, and I'll be damned if it didn't take, maybe a couple of years before Phoenix was like finally figured out on his own. Like, damn, I think
it's happened. I think I've seen the biggest shift in your guys' relationship in the past 4 or 5 months.
And that's because I'm consistent. I'm persistent. I do all the things that a mom would do. I don't play favorites. I don't play whatever. I yell at him like I yell at everybody else. It's hard to yell at him though, because
he doesn't do a whole lot wrong.
It is. But
Golden Boy.
So many parents, they're going to want to retaliate, or they're going to want to get their story out or on the side, and they're going to want to be like, well, how toxic is that other side of the family where they've said so many just wrong and deceitful and hurtful things to Phoenix. And I could have sat there and I could have been like, well, that's not true. And I could have talked to Phoenix like this. No. Quit wasting your breath. Let your actions prove it, and I'll be damned if that didn't come full circle. And now he's just like, God, you know what? I'm old enough now. He's going to be 13. He's like, I see everything that you've ever done for me. And
he's forming his own opinions on everything.
He formed his own opinions. I didn't have to say, you and I didn't have to say or try to counter the other
which
conversations.
Which is a whole new problem for me, because all of a sudden his opinions they're geared towards me, which they're like upset with him. So he's having his own shit. So
it can get messy. Bottom line is it can get messy. Whether you have a great,
it's not perfect.
It's never perfect. Trust us. It's never perfect. It's messy. It can be frustrating. However, if you can stay consistent and you can stay persistent and you can love and you can continuously show up for your kids, you can never fail.
I mean, I got to go home and I got to punish these fucking girls today.
You do.
Right? Well, it probably won't be till tomorrow morning. I mean, these damn kids like to drive the 4-wheeler. They got 34 acres to go anywhere they want. This 4-wheeler, yet they decided to run over our lawn chairs.
Literally, the girls,
the 4-wheeler to run over the lawn chairs.
They took the chairs were placed like in the tall grass where it's like weeded, and we keep the rest cut really short. Anyways, they got off of the 4-wheeler, put the chairs in the middle of the field just to demolish them and run them over.
Really smart.
So dumb. What was going through their head?
They definitely get that from
you. Like, oh, you know what? I have 34 acres, but what would be really fun is just destroying everything.
Destroy, kill, attack. All right, let's touch base one more thing, and then I got to send Ryan to get lunch for us, and I got to get on a call. Working together as a spouse. I don't know where that question is, but working together at home.
My favorite thing.
Balancing working from home together.
Oh, balancing
working from home together.
So like you working from home, because
we just went through it. I mean, the fucking scamdemic, like literally, one, I hated it. Not because of you there. I feel better. We make more money. The culture's better. It's not that I don't like to be home, but it actually, we probably lost about, I don't know, $3 to $5 million of me making bad choices, bad decisions on business
Tough
and
learner,
things, right?
tough
Tough
learner.
learning and things that were fucked up from being stuck at home. But the reality is that balancing it, I don't think there's such thing as balancing at home. I think it goes into the 7 F's, which we can use this as a call to action from the guys that are outside that want to learn how to have a relationship with us. It's about casting the future every fucking day. And long before you're actually living in that future, in my opinion, right? The reason, I can work from home, I can walk outside, you can be next to me, we can stop and have sex, we can have lunch, I could go to work, we can do all these different things because it fits inside of the life we're trying to design.
Sure.
And I don't know what every single person's job, what they do, right? Are you in front of Zooms 8-10 hours a day? I guarantee not. What I think, what was good for our relationship, because we crushed it in the family after during the scamdemic. Like we were doing everything together. We were happy. We were thriving, even though I wasn't winning in all areas financially because I was frustrated. We were doing really, really well at home, and we used that as an opportunity to get closer. Right?
Of course we did.
So
yeah,
I think, in my opinion, if you are trying to figure out how to balance that, I think you use that as the opportunity to get, 1, earn your trust because you're right there. Right. 2, figure out how to work with your kids together every day, because that's a challenge as well. 3, give her the opportunity to look into the comeback and what you're doing, because this is a comeback question, painting that picture, cascading the vision, the future, letting her understand what's going on. And then the other one, it just allows you to fucking learn how much shit you can deal with. Right. What I mean by that is like some wives and some dudes are, let's be honest, they get moody and fucking in a tight cram. We're pretty lucky for us because we got all that space and we're outside people. So,
and I'm super chill.
Yeah, I mean, I'm very much more chill than you.
Yeah, right.
If it was a competition of chill, like I'm like a fucking cucumber.
I am cooler than the other side of the pillow.
Yeah, okay.
Literally super chill. Mark is not super chill. Everybody, not super chill, just so we can.
I thought lies could ruin our relationship.
Is this question like, how do I balance work-home life? Is he like working from home? I'm kind of confused by it.
I took it as balance working. Let me read that. My eyes are fucked. Balancing working from home together.
So they both work at home.
I don't know if they work together or not, but whether you do separate jobs or the same job, right? At home, I think you're in each other's space all the time.
Sure.
But
I would say now, if that is your reality and you both work from home and you're trying to balance that, well, one, now you just have to accept that is your reality. That's what you're choosing to do. Routine, I guess on my side, would be a massive thing. Like, hey, I would like, I mean, for like from a wife's perspective, because I don't work business stuff. Like for you, okay, I know Mark's got to work from XNA or this time to this time. Hey guys, kids, dad's working, leave him the fuck alone. Like this is his time to do what he's got to do. And then I just continue to do what I do. Like here's lunch, here's dinner, here's like kids play outside. You just have to, routine is massive in everything that we do. I'm a very timely routine type of person.
I think it's also a little bit looking at it like it's a gift. It's an opportunity. I mean, it can be frustrating, I'd imagine.
Massive opportunity to connect.
Massive opportunity to connect and to create and really get to know each other more and work on things together. It doesn't always have to be like on the go, separated and stuff like that. I mean, you married this person because you want to be with this person, I would assume.
I love that perspective. Yeah, flip the entire script, quit trying to look at it as an opportunity to, wow, I really get to be with my family all day now. This is amazing. Maybe you're learning something about your kids that you never knew. Maybe you're learning a little quirk about your wife that you never knew because you were at the office all day. Like
you're learning shit about yourself you didn't know.
Yeah, exactly.
So
embrace it.
Well, I think that's it for today's episode. We'll be back next week. Do you have anything you want to add?
No. Great topics. Thank you, Corey.
Yep.
Thank you, Corey, for those topics. That was awesome.
All right. We'll see you guys next week. Have a great day.
Peace.